Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the End Zone Enthusiasts. I'm Paul. And why are we the End Zone Enthusiasts? Because we love amusement parks, but we also love the NFL. And guys, we went 9-6 last week, which wasn't great, but a lot better than the losing record we had before here. But we're going to talk more about that in our next episode. Right now, we're going to be talking about the power rankings. So where do these top 10 teams and two honorable mentions fit after 6 weeks in the NFL? And I can honestly say another week, a lot of shakeups. Before we get started here, wearing a Hershey Park shirt. This is currently my home park. It's been a park that I've been going to forever. And this is a classic one. This has the old Wildcat and all that kind of stuff here. So this is a classic shirt, but it's the Under Armour shirt. So it feels real nice and snug here. But let's talk about the NFL. Let's talk about the power rankings. And we got to start off with our two honorable mentions. So the first honorable mention is going to be the Green Bay Packers. Now, Green Bay Packers were on a bye week, and sometimes that is what you need to get your ship righted. However, a lot of shakeups last week, and Green Bay, we pulled them out after week 5. We pulled them out last week. You know, they tied Dallas. That really shocked us, and we were considering them the New Orleans Saints for this new year. Now, if you're familiar, last year, New Orleans Saints got to 2-0 start and then tanked the rest of the year. Kind of the same thing here with Green Bay. They got off to a great start, then they kind of tanked, but they kind of came back. So they're currently 3-1-1. Yes, we're going to have to deal with a tie throughout here, but they are in first place right now of the NFC North because of the Detroit losing and the other teams. You know, it's really kind of clustered all together now. But with that being said, because of that tie actually helps them out because now they are actually in first place. So because they're in first place of the North, we got to at least give them an honorable mention. That's the way I look at it. So they're not in the top 10, but if they start winning, they can come back in there. So whatever direction they go, right now, one of our honorable mentions is going to be Green Bay. Our second honorable mention, and this one hurts me. This hurts me a lot. The hurtness comes from having to put Kansas City back on there. Now, if you watch the Kansas City-Detroit game there, a lot of controversy. How they can go from 12 to 13 penalties in 1 week to really none the following week is amazing to me. They did not play a flawless game. You had a lot of questionable calls. But with that being said, they're 3-3. They were dead in the water at 0-2. And at one point, they were 1-3. So they're on a 2-game winning streak. They have a chance to right the ship. So kind of like Green Bay, you're kind of in that pinnacle area here. Are you going to start moving up, or are you going to start falling back, or are you going to just keep on bouncing back and forth here? They're in a much worse position than Green Bay's in because they do have the Chargers and Denver ahead of them in the West. However, you know what? They're showing life. They're getting their felon back. I'm sorry. Their speedster back. Their child back. 3-4. Who cares, right? They're getting their convict back. And when he comes back, that should actually help them out, unless he becomes another past convict that ends up, not being what he once was. We're going to see there, but they're not in the top 10, but they're kind of hovering there. So there are 3 teams that dropped out, which means we're going to have 3 new teams. So who dropped out? First one to drop out is actually the San Francisco 49ers. Now, yes, they lost to Tampa, and a lot of teams have lost to Tampa Bay. But the reason why I have them out is the injuries. The injuries are crazy. I see Kittle's on the IR. You've got Bosa out for the season. Now you got Frank Wagner out for the year. So you got your two superstars on defense are now gone for the year. You've got a rotating quarterback situation with Mac Jones and Brock Purdy. They're winning and they're doing okay, but I can't believe in a team that is so injured all the time. So because of that, I took them out of the top 12 because unless they start doing a major trade or they really right this ship in a direction that I don't see coming, I don't think they can maintain the 4-2 record. I think it's all down here from now, especially with the defense. Second team is Jacksonville. Now, Jacksonville lost, but I just don't trust Trevor Lawrence. And that defense, he got sacked 7 times. I mean, offensive line, he got sacked 7 times. That's unsustainable for any any quarterback, let alone a quarterback who's been injured the last few years, in and out. So until they solidify that and get another marquee win like they did against Kansas City, I don't think that they're top 12 worthy right now. Now, yet again, they're in the dogfight with Indianapolis. They're 4-2, and their defense has been a turnover machine. So if they can keep that going, they can bounce back into the top 12, the top 10. But right now, they went from 7 to out just because I can't trust them. And the last team to drop out, they were number 10, so they're barely in to begin with, but it's the Washington Commanders. They had a chance to pretty much tie the Eagles, but you lost. You lost to Chicago. Chicago's a questionable team. I can't keep you in the top 10 when we don't know if you're coming and going every week. So those are the teams that are out. So who are our top 10? Number 10, the Rams. And there's teams that are not in it, like the Chargers and the teams that dropped out, that should have this spot. But for some reason, I just think the Rams are a team in the NFC that's going to make some moves. So, yes, they won, and, they're 4-2, and, Puka might be out for a couple weeks, which will definitely affect their ratings. But for some reason, I still believe in the Rams. I still think the Rams are going to take this division over Seattle and over San Francisco. So I think the Rams are still the team to be in the West, but they're a little shaky. I mean, at one point they were all the way up to 4. Now they're all the way down to 10. But I still think they're good enough. And this, to me, has to do with what they're doing, but also their potential. That's why Baltimore took forever to drop down. But with that being said, I believe in Stafford. I believe, Devontae Adams is the number one on most teams. So if he has to step up with Puka being hurt, I can see that happening. And the defense with Verse is just amazing. So you're still in my top 10, but you really can't stumble. Number 9, staying at number 9, one of those teams that didn't move is Denver Broncos because they won overseas. They got the victory, and that's all that matters. But, man, that was way too close against a winless Jets team. That game could have gone any direction at any time. You beat the Eagles, you started the Eagles' tailspin, and then you follow it up with almost losing to the Jets. That's how crazy this NFL season is. So with that being said, I'm a little bit, I'm not sold on you. So I'm not dropping you down, but I'm not moving you up. I'm keeping you at 9 because I just don't know who you are yet. And if I don't know who you are, I don't know what direction we're going. So I'm just going to freeze you right there. Let's see how they do this upcoming week. But right now, I had to keep you where you were at number 9. Number 8, because I'm free falling. The Eagles are not playing like an 8 team. They're playing like out of the top 10. And if they lose this week against Minnesota, they will be out of the top 10. And that pains me because for 4 weeks, they were number 1. But they were flawed. They were seriously flawed. But they were able to overcome the flaws. But the last 2 games, Denver, I can understand. They got a killer defense and it was close. But the Giants with a rookie running back and a rookie quarterback and a team that you've dominated for almost a decade, the Giants, man, if you didn't have the potential like the Rams have, you'd be gone. Those last 2 weeks were a nightmare. The Giants were supposed to be your flex game. We're going to pound them down. We're going to beat them down. You're turning into Penn State. Penn State the last 2 weeks did so bad against UCLA and against Northwestern that they fired the coach. Well, right now, you got one last chance, Patua. The offensive coordinator, you got to make it or you're going to break it. The defense, I'm not worried about Fangio. We had some injuries. Jalen Carter was out. I understand. I think if you get Carter back and, you get back, hopefully Mitchell is able to play, I see the defense fixing himself. Fangio, I believe in you. But the Eagles offense got to pick a team. Are you a ground and pound team or are you a high-flying team with the wide receivers? Right now, you're trying to be both and you're nothing. So Eagles, you lose, you're out. Simple as that. But right now, you're holding out at number 8. Number 7 is a surprising team. So surprising that I'm looking real quick here. They were honorable mention last week because I saw the potential. But man, this team could easily be 5-1. Remember, they gave that game away against the Steelers. And they are looking good. They have this schedule that matches how good they are looking. You took on the top dog in your division, the Buffalo Bills, and you punched them in the face, and you got the victory. And you might be the new kids in town. You know, people talk about Miami. No. People talk about the Jets. Okay, nobody talks about the Jets. But you have the quarterback. You got the coach. Vrabel was the missing piece last year. And don't get me wrong, you upgraded on the wide receivers. You got Diggs, and Diggs has something to prove, and he's looking healthy. And you're looking like a team that's on a mission. And Drake May, I believe in you. So right now you're 4-2, and you're looking good. And right now you're in charge of the AFC East. So you're the top dog because you beat the head-to-head. So you deserve it. You're 7th right now, and you deserve being 7th. Probably not as deserving as number 6, the Buffalo Bills. Now, hear me out. I know New England just beat Buffalo, but I think talent-wise, head-to-head, 9 times out of 10, Buffalo is going to win that. So I'm keeping Buffalo where they are, and they're on a bye week this week. So, things could – here's the thing. I'd count you on during bye weeks, but you can be moved during bye weeks. If New England wins this week, more than likely, they're going to jump Buffalo. But right now, Buffalo, I still think 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, you're going to beat New England. And because of that, I'm putting you where you are. But just like the Eagles, you're on a 2-game skid. You got to right that ship quick. Number 5 has a lot of changes, and it starts out with 2 new people. Number 5, the Steelers. The Steelers. I know. They weren't even in our top 10 last week. They weren't even an honorable mention last week. How are the Steelers now number 5? Well, they're winning. They're 4-1. There's nobody left in that division to count. Cincinnati went back with Grandpa, Joe Flacco. Cleveland has a midget rookie. And Baltimore is 1-5. They got the division already. They can literally have it locked up in another 3 or 4 weeks. And they're winning. And believe me, I'm not a huge Aaron Rodgers fan, but his veteran presence shows. He doesn't make the mistakes. He finds the open guys. He's smart enough on the football to know when to throw it away. He's mastered the game. He's like Tom Brady when he went to Tampa. He's still got the arm. He still has the presence. He's not as quick as he used to be running-wise, but he's a veteran. And I thought when they got rid of Pickens, that was going to be a problem, but it's ending up not being an issue. Metcalf stepped in there and is doing great. The running attack is solid. Their defense is stepping up. And they're winning. And I got to give props to where I got to give props. Am I a Steeler fan? No, I hate Tomlin. I've not been a fan of Tomlin since he got there. I liked them when they had Cowher. But I do like Kenny Wood now. So give him a little bit of love there. But you got to give him props. And right now, I think they're the 5th best team in the NFL. So that's why they're there. Number 4, another new team that literally they were in 10th place. But when I think of Seattle, I think of another team that's just getting it done. And that's what these top 5 are. Teams that are getting it done. None of these teams were top 5 going in. One was. But all these teams are just winning. Pittsburgh, just winning. And when it comes to Seattle, Sam Darnold has a great situation. Just throw it to Smith and Enigma because he's catching it and he's all you need. But your running attack is solid. Your defense is solid. Boy, does Baltimore wish they had their coach back, don't you think? Their defensive coordinator? Because he flipped it around. And they're able to do what needs to be done. And yes, they lost to Tampa Bay, but who hasn't lost to Tampa Bay? Darnold is playing mistake-free football, and that's what wins games. Smart decisions, quick release, and moving forward. And that's what they're doing. And the defense is holding their teams. So I think the Rams are, on paper, the best team in the West, NFC West. But the reality is Seattle's playing like the best team. And you got to go there, and you're in fourth place now. You jumped up 6 spots. Because unlike the Eagles and the Buffalo and Baltimore and Kansas City, these teams that on paper are better, you're playing and you're winning. And that's all that matters. Number 3 was number 1, the Detroit Lions. Now, they lost a big matchup against Kansas City. They lost. Simple as that. They lost. But did they lose? I mean, the NFL needs to wake up and realize questionable calls in favor of a team like Kansas City, a lot of red flags. And the fact that the week before they were penalized 12, 13 times against Jacksonville and Jacksonville beat them kind of made me think like the league wasn't looking as closely as they thought. But let's be honest, the league is about making money. If the Chiefs aren't good, you're losing the Kelsey, Taylor Swift fans. You're losing the whole dynasty, and we need to hate Mahomes. You're losing your villain. I'm not saying they threw the game, but what I'm saying is there's a lot of questionable calls. And because of that, I think Detroit, 8 times out of 10, beats Kansas City. I think Detroit is a potential powerhouse. They're 4-2. But they have a lot of potential to go on another run like they did. So because of that, you dropped down 2, but you kind of stayed, you're still top 5. Number 2, you got to give it to Danny Dimes. Yet again, just like Pittsburgh, just like Seattle, you're winning. You got the best running back right now in the league. Danny Dimes is playing, Indiana Jones is playing lights out. The defense is solid. They bend, they don't break. They bend, they don't break. Are they winning these games in blowout fashion? No. But they're winning the games. And that's all that matters. And nobody had him. Everybody had Shane Steichen as a guy who's one of the top 3 guys being fired at the end of the year, if not sooner. And now he's looking like coach of the year. He found a legitimate quarterback that's not flashy. Daniel Jones is a solid veteran, just like Sam Darnold, just like Aaron Rodgers. They went with Anthony Richardson, who got hurt playing with a rubber band, I think. One of those stretchy things, But yet again, it's one of those things where they're just winning. And if you're going to keep winning, now they're staying at number 2. Not good enough to move up. But I think that has more to do with the team that took over. And you got to know what number 1 is, guys. Baker's got to bake. Baker's got to bake. And you got to admit, every week, they're losing people. They find a way to win. They're down their top 3 wide receivers. Evans and Godwin, both were out. And then Jigma, I think it's a Jigma, gets hurt in the first quarter. Who steps up? Shepard and 2 guys I never heard of. Campbell, I think, is one of their names. But he was smart. He uses all. He doesn't have Bucky. They're doing it with Rashid White. But they're winning because Baker refuses to lose. And that's a mentality. Play of the year so far was the 3rd and 13. Where he was down and then he fought to get there and he juked the guy. And then at the end, he stretches out with all his might after getting nailed to break the plane to get that first down. And then 3 plays later, bam, a dart to a guy that nobody knows. The guy got open, boom. I haven't seen. Listen, I know quarterbacks can throw fast, but man, the way that ball flew from Baker and landed right where the guy could get, only he could get it, that's amazing. MVP. freaking P. Baker Mayfield at this point, unless he gets hurt, is MVP of the league. No questions about it. Lamar and Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes is definitely no. Baker is taking that team on his shoulders, and you figure eventually his guys got to come back. I think the offensive line's finally healthy going into this week. But my God, being down your 3 wide receivers, your 1, 2, and 3 wide receivers out, and your top running back out, and you still beat San Francisco? I'm sorry, number 1 all the way. So that being said, boom, boom. Let's go through this one more time, guys, but this is our power rankings, and definitely let me know if you agree or not. But the 3 teams out are San Francisco, Jacksonville, and Washington. Our 2 honorable mentions are 2 teams that are at a crossroads, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Green Bay Packers. Coming in at number 10, LA Rams. You're right on that border, man. You got to wake up. You on paper are the best team in the West, but you ain't playing that way. Number 9, Denver. You won. Barely. I kind of kept you on a holding pattern at number 9. Number 8, Eagles. You lose, you're out. Sorry, you lose this week, you're out. Simple as that. Number 7, New England Patriots. You know what? If you lose, you're probably still going to stay in this area, but if you win, you're jumping our number 6 team, which is the Buffalo Bills. Number 5, jumping all the way in, Pittsburgh Steelers. They're winning, guys. Number 4, Seattle Seahawks. Dangerous, dangerous team. Number 3, probably the best team on paper, Detroit Lions. Number 2, Indiana Jones and the Colts, baby. And number 1, Baker's got to bake, guys. So later on tonight, I am going to be dropping my picks for week 7. Sorry again, busy for my day job with working wedding photography. I've got so many things I do. I do this channel. I do the 125 Roller Coaster Challenge. And of course, I run a wedding photography studio. So I got to get my pictures out to my bride. So I've been doing that for the last 3 or 4 days. But tomorrow, well, actually later on today, before the first game's there, I'm going to have my picks. They're right here. And stay tuned. And if you like what we do, make sure you like and subscribe. And guys, fly, Eagles, fly. Baker's got to bake. And Bills, just keep doing don't keep doing what you're doing. Play a little bit better defense. See you guys in the next episode.